Hey guys, currency with a twist. As you can see, we have the one and only, the none other, Pimpy in the house with us tonight, guys. Pimpy, how you
Somebody's a
doing?
glutton.
I love punishment, buddy. I love punishment.
Yeah, don't we?
Oh man, how's your day been?
It's been groovy, man. Been doing all kinds of yard crap and the big dogs. Yeah, it's the big. I got a dog. It's a Great Dane. You don't realize how strong they are. It's you not wanting them to do something, and then they want to do it, and then you realize just how strong those bastards are, man. I'm like, this freaking horse. He's big, man, but yeah, I love him. He's a beautiful dog, by the way, beautiful dog. But
Yeah,
I got two Chihuahuas in my house, but the oldest one, she's at the end there. She's walking into walls and freaking biting shit that I go, what are you biting? What do you think is another dog? There's nothing there. And then but what I don't like is she pisses and craps everywhere. You keep cleaning it up, but after a while, man, I'm like, come on, man, you're stinking up the whole place. But not a whole lot you can do. She's at the tail end of her career there.
poor baby, poor baby. So anyway, I wanted to bring you on. I had some questions for you, some things that me and Delta had talked about.
Sure.
And see where your head was. I just, like you said, I'm a glutton. I love to get your side of it, where you could tell me you're full of shit, Carl. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the other night we were talking, when the Delta was on, he had mentioned, having to become Article 8 compliant and all that good stuff. And he had mentioned deleting the 3 zeros. Did you get to listen to that all the way through?
Yes.
What were your thoughts? Did you have any questions yourself? What were some of your thoughts about what you heard that night?
Well, I kind of responded a little bit in the video, but my concern is when people say, they have to be Article 8 compliant, they have to delete the 3 zeros. I'm like, it makes it sound like it's a mandate. They don't have to delete the 3 zeros. It's idealistic if they do, but they don't have to delete the 3 zeros. It just makes life easier for like the World Trade Organization whenever they're doing currency pairing and for bookkeeping purposes and keeping crap on a computer. It's cleaner. You know what I mean? When you're trying to when you're doing pairing of currencies for trades. So, it's idealistically, but nowhere in there does it say it's mandated. Okay.
Right.
And you hear these people all the time that this is what drives me crazy recently. You keep hearing people all the time. Yeah, they're going to be international. You're going to be international. I'm like, international what? House of pancakes? I mean, they start these terms or these statements and they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. None. International. What is going international? Because their currency is already international. You know what I mean? Right. Iraq is international. Did you forget? They're on sanctions. Before then, they were already on the Forex. They were trading with other countries. So, what are you talking about? They need to go international. I tell everybody, well, in order for Iraq to be playing on an international market, because I know what international is, they're not on the SWIFT system. That's what they're talking about. And so I did a video of what Iraq needs to do to be back on the SWIFT system, because that's a biggie. I mean, if they could get their crap together and get back on the SWIFT system, that would make a world of difference with their exchange rate. You know what I mean? That means they can start doing business internationally.
Yeah. So how much money do you think Iraq's losing annually by not being on the SWIFT system?
Good Lord. Let's see there was an article probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know if you remember. I think they said, I don't know, that was Zimbabwe saying they were losing about $150 billion. Yeah, so they're probably about somewhere. Then Iraq's the one that says 21 billion. So, $21 billion is what they're losing just by sanctions. The fact that they have such a poor currency, but there's more things involved with it. But that's not, no small change by any stretch of the imagination. It's a large chunk of money. It's affecting their economy. Let's put it that way. And they're losing money because they're not compliant. Having to be babysitted all the time, having the United States being able to tell you what you can and can't do it's a pain in the ass. You know what I mean?
But we say that it's a pain in the ass, and you're right for the most part. But, Delta made a good point, and you're starting to see a lot of this is these boys have been in this situation for the last 20 years. Yes. They've learned the loopholes. Like Delta had mentioned in an article the other day where I forgot how many billions of dollars that are, they're siphoning off of these currency auctions, these politicians. tens of billions of dollars.
They're definitely making millions. I know when we say that Iraq is losing billions, it isn't all specifically going to their pockets, but make no doubt about it, they're making tens of millions. So you have Iraqi politicians that own banks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And the banks are being used to do all this funneling. So when I say this is not a good thing, I'm talking about the citizens of Iraq, not the government. They're corrupt as all hell, and they don't give a crap because they have their money. They get their money. They make their millions by keeping everything chaotic. That's why when they wanted to reform and they wanted to move into a new computer system instead of doing everything by, paper and pen, a lot of these politicians were against it because the more modernized you become, then the more easier it is to, monitor things and catch where the criminals are. The fact that, when Al-Qademi got in there, I don't know if you remember this, but they did an audit for paychecks. And he found out that, 20% of the people getting paid are not real people. They're just made up. And that there's individuals getting paychecks for multiple people. Now, he went after them, but he can only do so much because the real people he wanted to go after was Maliki. And he killed his friend, his best friend, actually, to send a message. And that is no can do. But it didn't stop him from going after some family members of Maliki's. But here's the problem. And I spoke about this in a video. You have these politicians that are in power. Maliki and his group, the coordinating framework, and they'll switch their names around every now and then. It's the same group of people in power. All they do is switch positions. Maliki would be the prime minister, Badi would be the president. Then next one, they'll switch. And now, Maliki's the president and, Badi is the prime minister. They've been rotating. So it's the same group of people in power that's been there for 20 years. All they're doing is rotating the position. Now, Sauter had a chance to do something about it, and he failed. He quit and let them guys take over. He never should have done that. He had all the people. He should have stuck to his guns and fought tooth and nail.
Right. So, real quick before we get too far into this, because I have more questions about the corruption part, because I feel like the corruption angle is where all of us are really stuck in this holding pattern of waiting for the revaluation.
I would say it's probably about 92% of it.
I just feel that way because what behooves them to want to change? Obviously, they don't give a damn.
What is the incentive for them to give up the money? What is the incentive for them to give up the power? What is the incentive?
They don't care about Joe Blow on the streets of Baghdad getting his money and having a better life.
Here's what happened is when Maliki was in power, he allowed a ton of Iranian citizens to come over into Iraq and become citizens. Right. So now all of a sudden he's got backup because the Iraqi people were like, hell no, we got to get rid of these Iranian back puppets out of there and let our own people be control of the government. But when it went to vote, it didn't happen that way. And why is that? Because Maliki, just like the Democrats are doing now, allowing a lot of illegal immigrants to come here, trying to find people that will vote for him. Same thing Maliki did. Allowed a lot of Iranians to come over here. And he put some of them in really powerful positions. Look at the mobilized, I don't know why I'm spacing it now, the militia group that's out there. You know what I mean? Them guys, 1/3, loyal to Sadr, 1/3 loyal to the Ayatollah over there in Iran, and 1/3 is to Maliki. That's 2/3 of your militia people that are loyal to Iran and not Iraq.
Right. It's funny, we talk about the voting and stuff like that. And Delta had touched on when you want to become a part of the parliament or anything, they almost have to do. Remember Blagojevich out of Illinois?
Yeah.
A long time ago was selling his buying the seat when Obama left.
It was Obama's seat, yeah.
Yeah, Obama's junior senator seat. Well, here you have the secrets of the session to elect the Speaker of the Parliament are beginning to unfold here in Iraq. It says the abuse of democracy began to become evident, especially in the session to elect the Speaker of Parliament. The buying of votes, offers and privileges presented to legislators in exchange for voting for a specific candidate, which prompted representatives to demand the presidency of the council to form a parliamentary investigation committee to uncover those involved.
We got the same thing here.
Always.
We got people out there paying $10, $20 to homeless people to go in and vote a specific way. So they're buying the votes. You know what I mean? Going into old people, promising them iPads and everything else to get their vote. So it's not just it's all over. So what do you do about it? You have to find a way. Here's the real problem. You got to find a way to stop that from happening. Unfortunately, the people you need to help you stop that from happening are the politicians themselves. Right. You know what I mean? So you can't get anything accomplished, like here in our own country, trying to get anything accomplished while, our intelligence agencies are as corrupt as could be. They work hand in hand with the political party. And can you ever charge them? I mean, Biden's son is doing coke all up in freaking, in the White House. And he's got videos of him doing pedo crap. Did they do anything? No. Why? These people are compromised. They'll make sure that the compromised politicians will stay elected, but as long as they vote the way they want them to. So there's a syndicate of criminality, and it's not just here, but it's also over there. So I'm just trying to make a comparison. It's all over. You know what I mean? So the only way you're going to stop that from happening, while Sauter, like I said, was there. He was there. He had most of Parliament, and he was the big dog up there. He just surrendered it after 1 year, But here's how you can tell that Sauter had his own people against him. They said that when not Sistani, but the other leader that is really close to Sauter, he said when he passes away, instead of passing the power over to Sauter, which is a great honor, he said he passed it over to another guy. And they said, you know what I mean? It was to bring shame on Sauter. But that just tells you that the Iranian people were in control. That's how they proved they were in control. Your mentor, your guy, not Sistani, I forgot his name. When he passes away, they pass it on to the next person. Instead of passing it on to Sauter, which he should have done, he already announced to everybody, don't follow Sauter, and he gave the power to somebody else. That was Iranian. You know what I mean? And Sauter was pretty hurt about that. But, that was just them demonstrating the power and control that they have over Iraq.
Yeah. And then there's another one here. It's a picture, it's a video, which I can't play really, but it's of an interstate system that they're building. It says the entrance project into Baghdad, and corruption and delay in Baghdad entrance projects. And it's just the news coming out of the news coming out of there is everything they show you is corruption.
It's the same everywhere, my friend. Look at these politicians are going to hire family members or friends of a friends to do these construction projects. And if it doesn't go that way, then there's long delays, or, it's one thing or another. You need politicians that are going to be in power that actually mean to do something for the citizens, not themselves, but it's really hard to find a politician to be able to turn away tens of millions of dollars to do what's right for the citizens of your country. It's unfortunate, but the same group of politicians have been in power now for 20 years. And it's never going to change. You'd have to do an uprising and have them removed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
understand, if you do an uprising to try to move these politicians, then you have Iran blowing your ass up from across the border, because they're not going to tolerate it. Right. So you're going to expect them to come in with the Revolutionary Guard. You're going to have to, citizens are going to have to fight an army, literally, to keep these people out of power. So they tried voting them out of power, and look what happened. The people that could have replaced them quit. Right. Yeah. So
they're let's see, there's an article today about El Samari and Halabusi. They're discussing, Al-Abbasi. They're talking about the political situation in Iraq and the region. And what did I see here? The meeting stressed the importance of moving forward to achieve the upcoming constitutional entitlements and the necessity of joint cooperation and coordination to find the necessary solutions to these outstanding problems.
How long have we been saying, look at, Kurdistan and Baghdad, they made an agreement for the salaries. They're going to send them over some money. I go, dude, why are you guys all excited about? They've been saying that for how long? Oil agreements. Oh, yeah, they're shaking hands.
Oh, man.
No, you can get the leaders. You can get Al-Sadini and Barzani and Halabasi to all agree on something, but they're nobody, because you still got to go back to Parliament and get it approved. And that's always a holdup. So the leaders want to settle things, but are they? No. This is what I made a video about the other day. People got pissy about. I go, you got tribes to deal with. You have different religious sectors to deal with. You have different political factors to deal with. It's a hot mess in the Middle East. It's really hard to accommodate all these people because everybody wants to be in control. Everybody wants to be in power. Everybody wants to be the people, grabbing the millions of dollars and screw the rest of the people. It's really hard to do. Now, I'm not saying that Iraq can't get there, but it's going to take some hard work to get them there. You know what I mean? They're really trying hard, I believe, but unless you get rid of the same political syndicate that's there, you're going to have a real hard time because they're Iranian-backed puppets, and whatever Iran wants, they're going to give it to them.
So, Delta cast the blame on to George W. Bush and Dick Cheney for setting up the Shia government that's in there through Maliki and that crowd. He said that they were handpicked pretty much and placed into power.
Why wouldn't our government want corrupt people in another government? Because we know they're corrupt and we know how to control them is through their corruption. We'll make sure you stay in power. We'll act like we don't like it, but you'll stay in power and we'll make sure you get millions of dollars as long as you do what we want you to do. So that's not new. It's, look at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe doesn't have to be that way at all, but they are. Argentina, Venezuela, they don't have to be this way. Do you think those people got in power by accident? We're talking about the United States, man. I could wipe these guys off the map anytime they want to. But all of a sudden, these people are in power. Like, oh, darn, this bad guy got in power. But meanwhile, we're funneling oil from Venezuela that hurts the people. We take oil from, places that we're not supposed to, that are under sanctions. And it's like, go figure. Why are you doing trade for this thing? Why are you buying oil from them? It's all screwed up. And the United States is behind a big portion of this. But they're all part of the same crime family. This is when I talk about the NWO. I tell people, look, you don't think it's real, but it's real. All of these oligarchs are tied into one another. And this is what they do. You bankrupt all these countries and then strip them of the resources, which is exactly what they're doing.
Right. Well, it goes back to what is it, the Khazarian mafia?
Oh, Khazarian, now you're going way back because when George Bush was in charge of the CIA, you know what I mean? They were pretty much running amok, and they've learned real quick. We can't always get Congress to give us funds to do things we want to do. So how about we just get our own money? And how's that? Well, they went after the cocaine guy in Panama. What was his name?
Manuel Noriega.
Yeah, Noriega. They told him, look, we'll keep you in power, but we want to run the cocaine trade. He said no. So they removed him, and now they control the cocaine. And the cartels, trust me, the cartels are under our control. They really are over in New Mexico, but they run, children's sex trafficking, children pornography, porn, prostitution, drugs across that border. They do it on our behalf is what they do. Now, keep in mind, before we went to war with Afghanistan, the United States was responsible for the production of less than 5%, less than half of 1% of the world's opium crisis. But once we went to the Afghan war, now we control 99.5% of all, opioids. We are the manufacturers and the distributors. And our CIA has been busted several times, not only running drugs, but prostitution and everything else. Does anybody do anything about it? No. And it's the same everywhere. So,
but then you got the ATF running around here wanting to fight the war on drugs. And, we're sending our own people to prison, getting, 20 do 10s, 10 do 5s,
why do you suppose that is?
Issues.
Because they're privatized.
Yeah.
You sell shares in these prisons. Once they started selling shares in prisons, and then you had judges and district attorneys buying shares into these prisons, where's the incentive to rehabilitate these people? There's more of an incentive for them to get caught, get busted again, and put them right back into the system. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I'm making $67,000 per prisoner, overcrowd the prisons, who gives a crap? Don't give them rehabilitation. Keep violating them for stupid crap. Well, you jaywalked, therefore I'm giving you 20 years. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Because they're privatized. People own stock in them. Michael Jordan is one of the biggest.
Jordan.
Yeah, yes. He owns a huge portion of shares in a lot of prison. And the black community at one time was all up in arms about it, but then all of a sudden they forgot about it. Go after, if you want to reform the laws for prison and everything else, go after the shareholders that are involved with these prisons, because there's no incentive for them to rehabilitate The prisoners. They like you guys fighting and everything. You guys are just the peasants. Who cares? But we can make 67,000 per person off you guys. Hell yeah, per person. That's a lot of money.
Bob Barker, of all people, made prison clothes, bars of soaps, shoes.
Come on down. You can be the next prisoner on The Price is Right.
Yeah, Bob Barker was making tons of money by outfitting the clothes and shoes and the soap that you wore.
But see what I mean? When I say that, I'm trying to tell people there's a bigger issue. There's a bigger hurdle involved. You know what I mean? There's more obstacles than people are talking about. It isn't just, oh my God, they're going to be in a World Trade Organization. Therefore, we should get a 322 rate. I'm like, no. Good Lord. And then when somebody wants to tell people the truth, then all hell breaks loose.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring this down to someone my level from your level. Say we go international. We're Article 8 compliant and we delete the 3 zeros. What does that do for something that I've heard you talk about that I have agreed with, where a rate of 22 cents, 40 cents most comes out? How do you do that if you delete the 3 zeros and you're stuck with $1.30?
See, that's something that nobody likes to talk about. There is a scenario out there in which they delete the zeros and then change the exchange rate. Nobody wants to talk about that. But I'm saying, hey, you guys should be at least aware of this. So they're like, no way would they do that? No, what do you mean there's no way? What the hell makes you think that they wouldn't do this? You know what I mean? I have my reasons why I don't think it's going to go that way, but nobody else out there really talks about it. So they just bring it up and go, no, Pimpy don't know what he's talking about. I promise you this is what they're going to do. Yeah, you promise? You mean like every year when you say the exchange rate's coming out in the budget? Every year when it's coming around Christmas time? What happened to the January 15th crap?
Hey,
you know what I mean?
It's the 19th right now, buddy.
Yeah, so but this is what they do all the time. And then when you call them out on the bullshit, you don't know what you're talking about. Why is he picking on me? He just likes bullying people. No, it's like calling you idiots because you lie to people and you mislead people is what you do, and that's wrong. Educate them. Can you educate them? No. You want to know why they can't? Because they have no clue.
Right.
All they do is regurgitate news. There's nothing wrong with that. Give me your opinion, fine, but don't act like, well, because of this is what's going to happen. No, there's more to it. You know what I mean? There's way more to it.
Right. Well, let's switch gears real fast. I'm glad we could touch on some of that stuff. I know people are tired of me talking about the corruption, but as I said, I feel like the corruption is a huge part of why we're not where we are today. I don't see the incentive for them to pull the trigger and finish the last few remaining steps. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not because they have compassion for their own people. So there's got to be something underlying.
You mean they're bleeding hearts to support poor citizens who are suffering?
Yes.
Politicians out there playing the "In the Eyes of an Angel," talking about if you could just give $1 to our Iraqi people. No, they're not out there doing that, man. Okay.
No, they're not. You know what I mean? So, and what
you have to do is find a way, and it's happening. This is what the reform is with the banks. Putting them into this electronic system allows the United States and other governing bodies that monitor the banking situation in Iraq. It allows them to see what's going on a lot better than they did before. So there is something being done, but you have to strip away from them the incentive for them to continue to be corrupt. But that's why the black market's there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You want to close that gap? Yeah, sure. People are like, well, just change the rate. That'll close it. Yeah. Yeah, of course. But it's more to it than just that. How do you? So if you're somebody making $1 million every week, doing something, but it's affected people negatively, but you don't care because all you care about your $1 million.
Right.
What is your incentive to stop doing it and do what's right for other people?
Right.
We got our own politicians that we're going through with. You know what I mean? They make what, 200 and something thousand a year, but they're multimillionaires. If insider trading, what happens if we do something with insider trading? Look at Martha Stewart. They threw her out of jail. What's that tell you? You know what I mean? Yeah. If they throw poor Martha Stewart, which actually made her bigger than she was, but she threw in her prison, and look at her. She came out gangsta, man. She got a rap sheet. She became bigger than she was. But she was. Why wouldn't she try to take advantage of information that can help benefit you monetarily? Of course you would.
Right. Well, you're right. So have you been watching or listening to anything about what's going on in Davos with the World Economic Forum and what the what's that guy, Wale or whatever, was saying? He's ruffling some feathers. They don't like what he has to say about
Dude, there's
the
a whole
money.
bunch of people ruffling feathers. You know what I mean? I was like, what the hell? You got all these people at Davos, the World Economic Forum, speaking out against them.
Yeah.
This one guy just went, he just unleashed on these people about, calling Trump a tyrant, calling him this and calling him that. When he just said, let me tell you what we got when Trump was in office. He said, the best economy ever, the number one this, the number one that. And he goes, and now I'm pissed because you guys have me up here defending Trump. And he goes, but that's the truth. And you guys are just lying about who he is. And people are tired of it. We're tired about the media lying. And then you're talking about the president of Argentina.
Argentina.
Milei. Dude.
Milei, that's it.
He freaking unloaded on him. He was talking, he said to the Western states, you guys are under attack. There's a threat going on. He says, we can no longer count on some of these Western nations. They have, for some strange reason, bought into the whole socialism thing. He says, if you haven't learned from watching other countries and, the cost to those nations for taking that path, then they don't know what. But he said, if anybody wants to stay on the side of freedom, just know you have Argentina as an ally, period. Because they're not bought into this World Economic Forum's New World Order. They're not going to do it. All right. So, but there's more people speaking out, which is weird because you don't usually see that happening, but more people speaking out against them than there were pro. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's how you know everything's starting to go to crap when you have speakers out there speaking against your forum.
Right. Well, wasn't it what is it? I don't want to say Charles Schwab. Who was the guy from the World Economic Forum that said, you will own nothing, but you will
Charles
be happy.
Schwab.
Yeah, Charles Schwab.
No, he belongs to some weird organization that's kind of spacey. And they want to do this transhumanism where they move us into robots so we live forever, but we work in a state of slavery our whole lives.
Right. Yeah, that's
we should look up what transhumanism is. It's kind of freaky.
Yeah, it is actually. So I was listening to Jim Rickards on ITM Trading, and he had the title was "Put on Your Crash Helmets. New Making Meltdown Could Snowball into a Global Crisis." Have you watched that or listened to any of it?
No, I've not heard that yet, but I love Lynette Zane because that's her channel. The cool thing is, just a quick sidebar. Now I'm working with Miles Franklin. And,
yes, congratulations on that, by the way. I was going to bring it up, but I was going to let you.
No problem. The cool thing is, they're like, so who do you want to do an interview with? And I was like, what do you mean? They go, we could get you anybody. So they're going to help me get interviews on my channel. So I'm like, good Lord. I mean, I was literally a loss for words. I was like, I don't even know where to begin to start. That's like walking in.
Awesome.
Being a chocolate lover. And all of a sudden Willy Wonka's like, come on in. Willy Wonka chocolate, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know where to start eating. Start biting Oompa Loompas by accident. Like, river. It's like, oh, sorry. I'm overly excited. So I'm going to look forward to that big time. And having these people on. I mean, I've done interviews with Lynette Zang before, but no, Jim Rickards, he's what I call a fence straddler because he will go to the World Economic Forum and, talk in a way that sometimes comes across as negative, you know what I mean? So it's like, wait, but whose team you on, man? But Andy Shipman, of course, not because he's my new boss, but I've always loved listening to him talk. James from SD Bullion is a great person to listen to. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Chris from Arcadia Economics. He's awesome to listen to.
Yes, he is.
So, then you got Ralphie from over there in Israel, Ralphie Barber. He's a great guy to listen to. So, listen to the masters, you know what I mean? And sometimes take the time to digest what they're saying. Because when you guys did your video, this guy was made a comment on it, and he just went all, Pimpy said something about the New World Order. Where are they at? They're nowhere. I was like, are you serious? Are you paying attention?
All around you. They're all around you.
Great currency reset. Are you serious? You're not paying attention? What happened to that? What about when he said that, the Great Reset, whatever happened to that? Okay, obviously you're way out of touch, dude, because all that is in process right now. It's happening right now. Global currency reset, trying to get us into central bank, digital currency. We have the New World Order. They're not even hiding it no more. The World Economic Forum calls themselves the New World Order. So I'm like, what are you not paying attention? I mean, what part are you talking about? What he was trying to say was, I kept saying all these things are going to happen and it never happened. Like the other content creators, I was like, no, you can't get Pimpy that way. Pimpy's always right. So, so they are happening. They're in process. All right. So
in my opinion, I mean, only mine, but I was listening to Nikki Haley talking about digital IDs the other day, and I just
she's a plant.
She's a problem.
From the World Economic Forum.
Yes, you know what I mean. It's like we get
She's
her.
A Democrat. I mean, seriously, it's like illegal immigration's okay. We need them. While that's at it, we need a central bank digital currency. I was like, why the hell would anybody put this chick in power, man? And now they're trying to encourage Democrats to push Nikki Haley, just like they tried with Liz Cheney. And that should tell you everything you need. If you are a conservative or Republican and you got Democrats trying to help you, that should tell you all you need to know about that Republican, that candidate. Okay.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I think we covered a lot of good stuff here in really short order.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Well, let me see here. Let me pull it up for you. Hopefully it won't block my screen. Can you still see me?
I can still see you, buddy.
Okay, so people get talking about being Article 8 compliant. But my biggest gripe is Article 8 has 7 sections to it. What part are they not compliant? When you say they need to be compliant, what are they missing? Do you even know? I can tell you right now, 99% of them have no clue. To go look it up now because I said something. But 99% of them have no clue what part Iraq is not compliant with. You know what I mean? So all I have to do is just go to the IMF Articles of Agreement, and you go through and read where they are. And I gave everybody a list the other day of how many articles, Iraq is not compliant with. And it's not that many of them, but, some of them are pretty big hurdles, I think. Article 8 is going to be tough. Making sure that you have a consistent state. They want a currency, an exchange rate that's consistent and stable. That's what they want with their currency. People going, well, if they close the gap, then they should just change your exchange rate right then and there. No. Dude, come on, look at Vietnam. They don't have any sanctions on them. They don't have, they're Section 8 compliant. You know what I mean? Their freaking currency is crap. Worse than Iraq's.
Well, that used to be the thing that always got me. And when I'd listen to you is, well, if they just change their exchange rate, they're going to be fine. They'll be fine. You know what I mean? Because my mind doesn't operate.
I never said that.
No, you didn't. But I'm talking about before I had a channel. Mm-hmm. When you listen, when you're somebody that just listens to other content creators, who we're talking about, mm-hmm. and they say these things about revaluing and going international, when you don't understand the ins and outs of it, like I'm learning currently with talking to you and others, then you're like, well, what the hell's Pimpy talking about? Pimpy's just full of shit. He's just trying to be negative, And
of course, yeah, that's it. He's just negative. He's just negative. And I always go, what am I negative about? Huh? Oh,
yeah.
What you're saying about the Dinar? What part's negative? You mean I'm informing you? Is that what it is? I'm not blowing smoke up your butt? I can't pull a magical wand out and sprinkle it unicorn pixie dust everywhere for you. It doesn't work that way. I got to know the truth. You know what I mean?
How many nights I slam my iPad shut talking about, man, screw Pimpy. I'm done with him, dude.
This guy's like, Pimpy said there's going to be 12-1. Remember that? And I go, you can tell those who listen versus those who don't. This lady was saying, she was complaining about things I was saying, but she had the audacity to admit that she doesn't even make it halfway through my videos before she turns them off. I go, then how do you know I'm not right? You never listened to the whole video. If you don't listen, then how do you know I'm wrong? Does that make sense? Seriously. It's like, you're going to cook a meal and they've only get like halfway through it and there's only partial ingredients. You taste it. You're like, this is crappy food. This person doesn't know how to cook. Why don't you wait till they're finished? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
well, you know how I figured out that you weren't full of crap? This is how I figured out, because there was times I couldn't make it through all of your videos. I would turn you off 3 minutes in, like, screw this. When the dinar never revalued. When the weekend would come and it didn't happen, or the month was here and we got through the month and it didn't happen. And then I started noticing the backpedaling of others.
Yeah. And how the 3-letter agencies, and the elite or the elders from China didn't give me permission to release the codes, and what the hell? Seriously.
There's a guy out here that's selling trust who will keep your money and keep you honest with a trust, who has the codes, he says. He's just waiting for the...
you know how many? There's a lady, I think she goes by name Sam, but her name's Samantha or something like that. She's an old lady, or Ruby. She's the one claiming to have the codes. So I said, see, you're not even the one that has the codes. She has the codes. There's another guy that was saying, I think all in all, I did a video a long time ago where I lined up like 5 of them. All 5 of them were claiming to have the codes. And I go, which one of these has the actual codes? I was acting like it was a game show. Just like this, what do you call that? I give him crap all the time. What's his name? The guy that's supposed to be capturing the flag. What the hell is his name again? I can't believe I
don't know.
Oh, Russell J. Full. You know him. I'm the Postmaster General. Yeah, so Christopher Mark says he is. And there's a lady who says she is. We can only have one. Which one of you guys is all lying? So they were pissed when I debunked that guy. I was like, well, I know him. He's an idiot. You know what I mean? So Pimpy's a bad guy that goes pees on everybody's fucking Wheaties in the morning, man. You know what I mean? What are you doing today? Peeing on Wheaties, making sure everybody's pissed at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shitting in your cornflakes. So,
you think the vast majority of people listen to me know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? They understand because they've been around me for a long time. These are the peons that are pissed because they come over from other content creators' channels trying to stir up crap, which don't work. You know, like, oh, Pimpy, then they get dogpiled on by people who know me. They're like, why don't you shut up and listen? This guy is trying to help you understand what's going on. So right. if I really, like, Pimpy says it's never going to happen. I said, there's nowhere I've ever said that. Show me the video where I said it's never going to happen. You said it's never going to happen. Nope, never said that. You said it's going to be 12-to-1 exchange rate. Nope, didn't say that. I said there is a policy out there about that, and I'm wondering how come the regular schmoes, I guess, didn't have access to it. And then I found out why. So, but you bring people. Remember when you said it was $1.31 rate? You told us everybody's going to be $1.31 rate? Yeah, I remember I spoke about it. Somebody said, in your opinion, when they give us, so there was a part of a puzzle that we were missing to calculate how much the Iraqi rate could be. And when we got that puzzle, I go, now that I got that final piece, I went through and calculated. I said, if they sold all of their reserves, and all of their gold, they could support a $1.31 rate. But are they going to sell their gold and all the reserves? No. Why would they do that? No, I'm just saying if they did, you try to be a little bit ridiculous, but at the same time, give them an idea of what Iraq could do. But they're not going to sell the reserves because having all the gold in the reserves protects their exchange rate, and they're not vulnerable to shocks in the market. That's why you need all that gold. That's why you need all these reserve dollars. But if you talk to other content creators, you go, why is it a big deal that they have so much reserve dollars? Why is it a big deal that they got gold? Wait, let me go back and listen to Pimpy's old video so I can give you an answer.
So with the state of our let's just say BRICS for a second. BRICS is growing. BRICS, they say, is going to come out and all of our dollars are going to come flooding back in. Dollar's going to just crash. What is the chances when you hear about other treasuries around the world buying up gold? What are the chances central banks? Yeah. What are the
records? Every year they smashed a record before. Central banks continue to buy more and more gold. So,
what about going back on the gold standard, Pimp?
There's a kind of gold standard in which you could swap your dollars for gold, physical gold. It's called a gold exchange. But going back on a gold supported currency, I support it. I hope it does. Everybody knows how I feel about it. I heard what Kyle had to say about it. Kyle says the problem with being on the gold standard is if a crisis comes up, then it's hell trying to get it taken for them to respond to the crisis. And it seems surprising to me because there seems like there would be some kind of special circumstances that if all of a sudden we're going to war today, hey, somebody's trying to bomb us and retaliate, then there's an exception to the gold standard. But the gold standard reduces the power of the government. The gold standard reduces their spending. There's many reasons why to go to the gold standard. Mm-hmm. I understand what Kyle's saying. And, I was kind of shocked that they didn't have, an alternative to the gold standard if we did run into an emergency or situation. So I got to look a little bit more into that. But, people say, well, it won't work. of course it'll work. What you do is just this is where I think they're going with this. I think they're going to revalue gold is what they're going to do, because there's every country's in so much debt, and they've done something stupid by globalizing, which means if something happens in one country, everybody else collapses because of it. That's why it's important for you to have your own sovereignty away from that crap. You want to have something that protects you from the failure of one country. But the fact that we're so intertwined with one another is why we keep having these crises. And the World Economic Forum is like, well, we got the resolution. No, you don't. No, you don't. Their resolution is to take our money from us with the central bank digital currency. So go to the gold standard. But I think what they're trying to do is, they're going to revalue, in my opinion, gold and just try to clear off all the debt on their books as much as possible. The Federal Reserve is solvent. They're bankrupt. They got like 4 times the debt on there than they have money. Keep talking about, oh, well, the Federal Reserve can handle it. Yeah, because all they do is say print money, but then what's that do to our money? It makes it less valuable. The fact that we can outsource our debt to other countries is what we've been doing by making the U.S. dollar, the reserve dollar, is we've been able to take our debt burden and push it off onto other countries. And is that fair? No. I mean, people go, well, you're not American, Pimpy. Why don't you stick up for them? I love my country. Don't get me wrong. I hate my government. Let's get that straight. But, not where it costs other people livelihood, not where it puts other people into poverty. I don't support that at all. We should be responsible for our own crap and take care of it. But, it's kind of a long answer to your question. In my opinion, I think the central banks are buying up all the gold because I think they know that this central bank digital currency thing is going to fail. They probably knew it was going to fail. And they're looking forward to just revaluing gold and clearing off as much debt as possible and starting over from scratch. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it just sucks. It just sucks, man. It'd be nice to go back on the gold standard, like you said. I mean, we were just fine with it for how long? We grew, and then they came up with this petrodollar idea, like you said. I guess to just
70s, yep.
Yeah, just print money at will and put the debt off on somebody else. You know what I mean?
The crazy thing is, when the Shah was in control, we literally gave him our printing plates so they could print US dollars. People forgot about that. So I'm like, well, how many dollars were actually out there? We did that while he was in power, but then when he's removed and Ayatollah got in there, what really happened to our dollars, So that's what I want to know. Are you still doing it? We got Biden sending over billions of dollars. Why is this guy in? I don't get it. Why people are not pissed off. The fact that he keeps sending money to our adversaries, you know what I mean? Because he's compromised, man. Just compromised. About corruption. Yeah, our government is at the top of the list there. Whether you want to believe it or not, they are the worst of the worst because they have all the power and might of our military to protect them, where other countries don't.
Well, that's the sad thing, Pimpy. The other day I watched a great movie called The Covenant. I don't know if you've seen it. And it's about a soldier who had an Afghan interpreter with him, and he got shot up. Well, the Afghan interpreter drug him all the way back through Taliban territory, like 120 clicks or something, saved his life, got him back, and then the U.S. government just let the interpreter go.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And then he went and got the interpreter. He mortgaged his house, financed his house again, ran up a bill, and went and got the guy.
That's the same as now. Look, we left all those people behind in Afghanistan.
That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't our government that got them. It was private individuals that used their own money and own planes and went and got them out. So yeah. Thank you, Biden. That whole withdrawal was not by accident. Leaving all that equipment was on purpose. You got to remember when we were selling arms, when Obama's office and Hillary's office, to ISIS. Well, they called them ISIL. And they admitted to it. There's videos out there of Obama admitting that they're training and funding and arming ISIL soldiers. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so that's treason. And why are they still in power?
Yeah, and not to mention, we're going to buy them all Toyota Tundra pickups that are brand new.
Yeah, that's why I was like, so the steering wheel's on the left side. So,
Yes.
That's American made, China's like, wait, don't look at us. We didn't do it, man.
That's not us.
Steering wheel's on the wrong side. But I just like now, $7 billion worth of military equipment. And what do you think was going to happen to that? They said it cost us more to bring it back. What the F are you talking about? So go ahead and leave it there. At least blow it up so it's not operable. But now you got terrorist groups and proxy groups all armed with our weapons. And not only that, they sell these planes and stuff to other countries so they can steal our technology. This
China,
was done on
Russia,
purpose.
North Korea.
Absolutely done on purpose. So
Yeah, it
people
just
said it's right.
but we lost so many young men and women, all for
Yeah.
nothing now. 20-year
Not just
war.
that. No, what about all those Afghanistans that were helping the American people? Now they're dead. Most of them are. So what that does is sends a message around the world. So I told you this thing was done on purpose. These people want to destroy our country from the inside out. So what do? People from around the world see what we did in Afghanistan, and they go, if you come to our country, there's no way in hell we're helping you. You're not going to get any help. We've seen what you did to the Afghans. You know what I mean? These people died for what? Nothing.
Yeah,
but,
these little girls go into school. We set these schools up. Hey, we're going to protect you. You're going to get an education. Oh, wait a minute. Policy change. We're getting the fuck out of here.
No, I don't know if you ever seen the news covering the first woman driver in Saudi Arabia. It had me laughing. They're like, yes, this is the first woman driver. She's like waving. I don't know if you ever seen this. And she goes, get ready. We're going to watch her go. And she was ready to go. And she went backwards by accident and crashed into the building. I was like, dude, that's just so, if you think about what that does for women everywhere, you're like, hey, here you go, the first woman driver, and she crashes right away. That video is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. The newspaper like, cut that crap. Don't
Oh God, that's awesome.
But it's look, it's a cat and mouse game. We're talking about, oligarchs around the world, the richest people in the world. You got bankers controlling countries. You got our intelligence agencies using spyware to spy on our own politicians, to compromise them and blackmail them to do what they want. So, where does this start? This election is going to be, in my opinion, our last chance to get it right. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, Pimpy, I appreciate you coming tonight, brother.
No problem. Way off subject when it comes to the Dinar, but it was fun talking about it.
Hey, we started the first few minutes with it.
Look, here's what people gotta understand. First of all, I never see this not gonna happen. It absolutely will, but it's gonna go up in increments, in my opinion.
Yep.
Is Iraq doing what they need to do to get back on track? They are. But what are the biggest hurdles? They need to do something about the corruption. They need to do something about that same group of people that's been in politics now for over 20 years. You need to get them out. Get them out. Okay? You need to let a new group of people in there. Unless these things change, we're going to have a hard time getting to where we're trying to get to as far as, exchanging or changing the exchange rate. And we started to talk about it earlier. Dropping the 3 zeros and then doing an exchange rate is always a possibility. There's a possibility that they delete the zeros, or 25,000 turns into 25 dinars, and then they change the exchange rate. So it's not up against a 25,000 dinar, it's up against a 25 dinar. So if you're getting $3, let's say they go, yeah, you know what we do? Let's get $3. You're like, yay. But instead of it against your 25,000 dinar, your $3 is only up against the 25. As soon as you mention, as soon as they hear this in the video, how's it gonna break loose? Yeah. But I'm not saying I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm saying you gotta at least have it in the back of your mind that it is a possibility. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a possibility. Okay. So
it's not tens of millions, but it's still not a bad return.
No, I mean, come on now. I mean, my 5 million becomes, 5,000 times the $3 rate. So I get 15,000. At least I get some money more than what I paid for. It isn't 50 million, but
hey,
people will bitch, so they will, because you want to know why? They've already spent the money in their mind. Yeah. Like I said, they got mansions, fancy cars, snorting cocaine off hookers' butts. That's how they see it. I'm like, see, don't do that. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Don't already see yourself spending the money. And I understand you guys need money. You need to get things taken care of. But, that's a possibility, because I have to say it that way, because I guarantee they're going to go around and all the channels will go, Pimpy said this is what's going to happen. Watch it like they always do. So, yeah, it's a possibility.
Don't forget now, every 100 trillion Zim is 50 million. So bank on that, all right?
Yeah.
I actually bought into that. I believed it.
I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about, man? They're exchanging it for $40 right now. You know what I mean? Take your $1 trillion and give $40 for it.
Oh man, I remember
2019 when they went ahead and did the change the exchange rate and they change the currency. And I said, right now, like, people are like, when are they going to revalue? What do you mean? They're doing it right now. It was like 2019. They're like, no, they're not. And I showed everybody, look right here. You guys didn't know about it? No. What good did it do? You want to know why? Even though they went ahead and started buying out those dollars and they changed the exchange rate, you couldn't do anything with it here because they were still under sanctions. So that's another issue with the Iraqi dinar. If they change the exchange rate, where are you going to take your dinar to?
Baghdad.
Yeah. If they exchange the rate and keep us with these size denominations, yeah, I'll fly out there, dude. Trust me.
So I got a question for you. Talking about the Zim, right? And this is where I always thought Mark and them were correct, is because if you go to Onada or XE at currency exchangers and you put in a 100 trillion to the dollar, it shows you 200-something billion dollars. It's crazy.
Off the current exchange rate. Didn't I tell you they changed it?
I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying now.
It always threw me for a loop.
Hey, now remember I told you to use the 10, the 2, the 5, the $10 Zim dollars. That's the new one with the new exchange rate. So what do you think's going to happen when you throw in that you have a train of those things? They're like, oh gosh, damn, dude, it's worth millions of dollars. That's because what Mark and them are telling you is the exchange rate changed, and then they redenominated the currency. That's what they don't tell you. So, of course, with the new exchange rate, because of the new redenominated dollars, you throw in $100 trillion bill, $100 trillion Zim note, of course you're going to have a lot of money. But it's misleading. You see what I mean? They don't educate their people. Don't tell them this stuff. They just go, look what it could be. And people are like, oh, I should get that money. No, you don't.
Yeah.
The people can't even get enough money to wipe their ass. So how the hell are you going to get the money? And I showed you why with the corruption, how their politicians are killing each other.
Right. Well, that's just like this guy that pops up all the time on, I'm not going to give his thing, but he always has in his clips, congratulations, IQD traders. Chase Bank, Iraqi dinar, RV approved. Wells Fargo, congratulations, Iraq done. Chase Bank announced new exchange rate international. Big, dinar RV done. Wow, finally, Iraq done. Wow.
Well, they figured out how easy it is to mislead people and they'll believe it. So they're just having a field day. They're like, these people will believe anything. Let's go ahead and start making a channel this way.
Yeah, this dude's got 80,000 subscribers. And it's all he does is regurgitate other content creators.
And they just give a thumbnail that misleads people. So,
Yeah.
You'll wake up.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this recording. Pimpy, I love you, brother.
Right back at you.
I appreciate everything you do for this channel.
You're a glutton. You keep putting me on. People are going to start bitching if they ain't already.
Oh, they do already. I spent a lot of time defending you, but it's fine. I'm good with it. Yep, of course. You have a wonderful night. I know you got laundry to do, and I'll be talking to you soon, my brother.
All right, my friend. I'll catch you later.
All right. Have a good one, Pimpy. Oh, man. All right, guys, there you have it. We had Pimpy on tonight. I know we did a lot of rambling there towards the end, but we had a lot of good things to talk about. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Guys, it's not being negative. It's just showing you a different side of where we feel we are in this investment. And as I said, I think corruption is one of the biggest things that we have to overcome for Iraq to finally get there. There's got to be a motivating factor for them, because right now the people in charge are making tens of billions of dollars by, the way normal business is today. And until they change that, guys, we're not going to see anything. All right. I'm not saying all corruption's got to be gone, because look, we live in a country full of it. But, at this moment, some things got to change. All right. Hey, guys, I'm going to let you go. Have a wonderful night. I'll be back soon. Currency with a Twist is out of here.